Have you ever stopped to think about how the world's great faiths tell the story of, well, us? The beginning of humanity? The story of Adam and Eve is so foundational, but when you look closely, the details can reveal these huge, profound differences in how we see God and ourselves. Today, we're going to look at Genesis chapter 2, but through the lens of Islamic teachings. And what we'll find is a story that feels incredibly familiar, but at the same time, totally distinct. Okay, let's get into it. Right out of the gate, you see this amazing parallel. Genesis and the Quran are on the exact same page. The first man, Adam, was literally sculpted from the earth itself. One says dust, the other says clay. I mean, it's such a tiny difference in words, but it points to this massive shared heritage. But as we're about to see, it's in these subtle little distinctions that the two paths really start to split. So here's our roadmap. We'll start with that shared story, the common ground. Then we'll dig into the big differences, the nature of God, the creation of Adam and Eve, their big test in the garden, and finally, what this all means for humanity's ultimate purpose. All right, first up, the shared story. And honestly, you might be surprised by just how much overlap there really is. It's pretty striking when you lay it all out. Both traditions agree there's one sole creator. Creation happened in 6 periods, or days. Humanity starts with a man named Adam, who was made from the earth. He's put in this perfect garden, a paradise, and he's given one single test, a test that involves a forbidden tree. We all know how that goes, right? This is our shared foundation, the bedrock of the whole story. But this is where we hit our first and maybe the most significant theological fork in the road. And it's not even about what was created, it's about the nature of the creator himself. Genesis 2 gives us this really powerful image. After 6 days of creating everything, God rested. The idea of a divine Sabbath is, of course, a cornerstone of Judeo-Christian theology. It sets aside the 7th day as holy, a day of rest, symbolizing completion. And then you turn to the Quran, and it makes a point of saying the complete opposite. It agrees on the 6-day creation, but then it adds this crucial detail. God was not touched by any weariness, no fatigue at all. So you have to ask, why this direct counterpoint? Well, it all boils down to a core Islamic principle called tanzih. It's this idea of God's absolute perfection and transcendence. Basically, it means God is completely beyond any human-like qualities or limitations. Things like needing to rest, feeling tired, those are human things. From this perspective, saying God got tired would limit his infinite power, which is just incompatible with his nature. So this fundamental difference in how God is understood, it naturally colors the next part of the story, the creation of Adam and Eve. And again, we find a shared story, but told with these fascinatingly different details. Now, the story of Eve being made from Adam's rib, I mean, that's one of the most famous stories on the planet, right? The Quran, though, describes it a bit differently. It says Eve was created from the same nafs, or the same soul, as Adam. Now, this doesn't automatically contradict the rib story, and in fact, some Islamic traditions include it, but the Quran's main focus is on that shared essence, that they came from the same single source, rather than a specific surgical procedure. And the reason for her creation is spelled out so clearly right here. It says the mate was created so that Adam could find comfort or tranquility in her. The emphasis is on the psychological and spiritual companionship right from the very start. Okay, so now we're in the garden itself. Adam and Eve are living in paradise, but their perfect life comes with one rule, one single test. And here again, the details diverge just a little. Genesis gets super specific. It's the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and the warning is dire. You will die. The Quran doesn't give the tree a name, and the warning is about becoming a wrongdoer. But now look at the result. It's practically identical. In both stories, the very first thing that happens after they eat is this sudden, shocking awareness of their own nakedness. So what does that tell us? It means this shared outcome points to a shared concept, that before this moment, they existed in a state of pure innocence. They were completely unaware, unashamed. Their act of disobedience was the moment that innocence ended and a whole new kind of self-awareness and shame began. So this brings us to the really big picture. Beyond the creation story itself, what do these texts say about why we're all here? What is our purpose? In Genesis, Adam gets a very specific job description: to work and keep the garden. He's a custodian, a caretaker, a gardener. It's a noble purpose, for sure, rooted in taking care of his immediate surroundings. The Islamic concept, on the other hand, just blows this role up to a global scale. Humanity is called a Khalifa on earth. Now, that's often translated as steward, but it also means something like a successor or a representative of God. It's not just about tending one garden, it's a divine mission to be responsible for the entire planet and everything in it. And the purpose of the human partnership is framed a little differently too. In Genesis, Eve is a helper created so Adam wouldn't be alone. In the Quran, the language is about spouses finding tranquility, love, and mercy in each other. But you see, despite the different angles, both paths arrive at the exact same conclusion. Marriage is a sacred foundational institution for all of humanity. So let's pull all this together for a second. We have this incredible shared foundation, creation from clay, a garden, a forbidden tree. But layered right on top are these crucial worldview-shaping differences. Is God a being who needs to rest, or one who is completely beyond that? Is our purpose to tend a garden, or to be stewards for the entire globe? These are not small questions. And that really leads us to the final thought here. These aren't just ancient stories from a dusty book. They are active blueprints for how billions of people understand God, themselves, and their role in the world. They've shaped laws, cultures, and entire civilizations. So the real question for us today is, how do these parallel yet very distinct visions of our very beginning continue to shape our shared present?
This is just the start of our amazing journey of explaining chapter by chapter of Genesis and trying to see all of the differences and common ground. It's a long journey of faith, and hope you learn in every new video some new fact and upgrade your understanding of faith.